Oh no, what?
Does size matter?
Oh wow.
They see me dating, they hating.
I'm feeling good. A little nervous.
I'd say it's like definitely a 50-50 of excitement and nervousness. Like obviously excitement, like new experience, ready to try it out.
My name is Mona. I am a nurse practitioner.
My name is Praveen. I work as a software engineer.
So funny story, I actually didn't submit my name to PopShift. It was submitted by someone else. Got the email and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go for it. I still have yet to figure out who did that.
To be honest, I actually did not expect to be here. It was just more of like, I'll send it off. Like, I don't really expect to hear it back. Whatever happens, happens. It just sort of led to me being here now.
I do not have a type. I've dated all sorts of personalities, people who are from different professions. If I hit it off really well with someone, that's my type.
One, I class myself as an ambitious person. So I think having an ambitious person as your significant other, they understand why you work so hard for the things that are important to you.
I write spoken word poetry. I've done some voiceover narration projects, and I've recently gotten into modeling.
I have never dated a South Asian woman before. I think just more of like the right person has to come along. I don't think I'm very like particular on race. I think it's like I'm very particular on qualities that the women have. I say like my only expectation is to have a good time.
I have zero expectations, like absolutely none whatsoever. Hi, my name is Mona.
Hey, my name's Praveen.
What are some of your insecurities?
It's a tough one, damn. To start out with that one, I think the biggest one I'd probably have to say is this underlying insecurity that I'm not enough. I work very hard at the things I do, partially because they're very important to me. But I think there is an underlying insecurity that I need to do those things in order to validate myself as being worthy of love and worthy of being around others as well. Biggest insecurity I have is just this idea that I'm not enough, that I have to prove my worth to others.
It's a hard question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did
right
great.
Out of the gates.
You did great.
Thank
you. Being misunderstood, I think, is one of my greatest insecurities. I'm not always the best at articulating what it is that I feel or want.
Do you feel like there's an underlying need to be liked by everyone?
I used to. Yes, for sure. I think I had a bit of people-pleasing in me
Gotcha.
Before. I think that came from a wide variety of things, the conditioning growing up, culture, movies, everything around me.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's a tough question to roll out of the gates with.
I
guess.
agree.
We've broken the ice. We just
wow.
totally went straight through it. No cracking, just full force. So the next question is, why did you want to try this?
So funny story, I didn't. Somebody submitted my name.
Really?
I have yet to figure out who that is. Whoever you are, show yourself.
So you just got an email from PopShift.
And then I got the email and I thought about it and I decided to go forward with it, yeah.
Nice.
What
It's an
about
interesting
you?
story.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have known you fairly well then, I guess, to have had your contact information, have a picture of you and all that stuff.
Honestly, I don't know, because my Instagram is public.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know if it's someone that I'm close with or if it's just
Some random stalker.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
A little creepy to think about. That's fair.
A little bit, yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. What about you?
I'm a big fan of getting out of your comfort zone. I think it's important to always try new experiences because you never know what you might find. What's the worst that can happen, right? And now I ended up here.
I love that, yeah. I love that, trying new things out, yeah. Are you on good terms with your exes? Explain.
I don't really talk with my exes anymore, but that's just because we've fallen out of touch over time as time has gone on. But I think at the end of the day, if I were to run into one of them, there would be nothing preventing us from being let's grab a coffee, let's catch up. I'm not constantly keeping up to date with them, but if I were to ever see them, I don't think there's any bad blood between us. What about you?
I am still friends with one of my exes, and that's mainly because we were friends before we entered into the relationship.
Gotcha.
But everyone else I don't really keep in touch with. Again, I don't think we're on bad terms, but I really don't keep in touch with them or talk to them regularly or anything like that.
That's fair, I feel that. What do you do for a living? Pretty easy one to end off on.
I know, okay. So I'm a nurse practitioner, but I do a lot of creative stuff on the side. Occasionally I do modeling. I also write spoken word poetry and I do some voiceover narration. So I've done taglines for local artists here in New York. And I do have a few other projects coming up as well. Yeah. What about you?
So I work as a software engineer. Don't do anything else outside of that, but software engineering is my one thing.
Cool. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Cool. She was really pretty. Definitely short, but she had also said that. So I like curly hair, but it's oh wow, You have really curly hair.
Are you a competitive person?
I'm a competitive person.
Really?
Okay, so are you?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I can be.
Okay.
Wow, okay, so what are we gonna do? Are we gonna use this, or are we gonna like
Well, how do you normally make chai?
the traditional way?
Okay, let's go with the traditional way then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
All right.
challenge.
Okay, so what's the first step?
So, I mean, we're competing. I can't tell you.
You can't tell. Oh, wait, I don't know how to make chai by myself. I was hoping like we compete, but you also tell me the steps too, so I need to know what I'm
It's not
doing.
a true competition, though, is
It's
it?
like an aided competition.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, so first thing I guess would be,
Yeah.
I think we should prep, right?
Okay.
Because it moves pretty fast after that.
Gotcha.
Oh no, what?
The size matter.
Oh wow. Yes, to a certain extent, maybe. More importantly, like technique is important too, right?
That's
So
fair. Yeah.
if you have like some of the size and like some of the technique, it can work, you know? Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't really answer this question in return. Yeah.
Do you agree with my answer?
Yeah, I think your answer makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Just as a person, you can't really comment on it.
Tell me about one of your biggest passions or obsessions.
Probably my biggest passion outside of my career is definitely like working out. So I do like powerlifting, which is like competitive lifting, so to speak.
I started getting into weightlifting, I believe, last year.
Nice.
I went for like 3 months, I was doing great. And then school got in the way.
That's fair.
I was finishing up with my doctorate, so I was like really struggling to like
That's
keep up
fair.
with
Probably
it.
was a lot.
But although like I look back and I'm like, oh, it's just an excuse, you know,
Yeah.
like you should just go. So
Fair.
that's cool, you're really into it. So maybe you can like share some tips.
I got you.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
Okay, so one of my biggest passions is to help as many people as I can. That sounds so like idealistic and like, oh, I think I cut myself. It's right here. It's not bad at all. It's like a tiny little thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so my greatest passion is to help as many people as I can. I mean that in like in the medical realm. I would love to get into helping victims of like acid abuse in like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. It happens a lot in South Asian countries.
Right.
And so I would love to get into that eventually down the road. Right now I'm just kind of racking up experience. So yeah.
Nice. Have you always been that way? Was that something like you think you've always had since like you were young, or is it something that you developed over time?
Yeah. I mean, I come from like a, I guess, underserved community.
Gotcha.
So I've I didn't grow up with a lot of wealth or anything, family-wise and even just background-wise. Like I'm from one of the lowest castes.
Gotcha.
Castes, which like what? But you know, and so I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot.
Gotcha.
And so it's become one of my passions to help those people as much as I can.
So it's like a very personal value and personal story for you.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really honorable. It's like a good thing, because I think a lot of people like, they say that thing, but they don't truly live that life. You know, they always say like, I'd love to help people, but it genuinely sounds like you're following through with that.
Awesome. We're done with the hard part. With jaw, I feel like this is the hardest step, I think.
I have all fingers intact.
Yes. Yeah. And then I think it's my turn to do the question.
What are your go-to icks? Like what's like when you like are on a first date and someone does something that immediately makes you go, all right, now second date.
Like on your phone too much?
Gotcha. Something that I immediately look for is like, say we go to like a dinner or something. Like I always pay for the first date, but what I generally look for in return is like some sort of affirmation that like of respect, like either like, oh, like I didn't attempt to split, or like I'll grab the next one. It's not really like a money thing, but it's more of an entitlement thing. And I think when you're entitled, 2 really bad things come from that. I think the first thing is you get mad at them. Like if they like enter a bad period where, you know, mental health is just worsening or something like that, like you get upset with them because they're not fulfilling their part. And you're also like doubling down on that by not being there for them like in that like time of need, right? The goal is not to like meet the bare minimum, is rather to do the most and best you can for your partner, because they're supposed to be like the most important person in your life.
Fully agree with all of that. To me, like if we're in a relationship, something happens in my life or I'm down or something, if I can't call you and like talk to you about it, or if I feel like I have to hesitate to like reach out,
Right.
like there's something that's like not going well. If you're my partner, we're in a relationship, and like say if a bad day or something happens, like I shouldn't like have to like think twice
About like
about calling.
You should be the first person that you want to call. Not even no question. Just
Like-
immediately like as soon as you're done with whatever you're doing, open, call.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And like I get if they're like in a meeting or like if they're busy, like sure, like understandable fully. But I think that's where communication comes in, right? Like you let the person know, hey, like I'm gonna be in a meeting today, like, or I don't know, you don't have to let them know all the time.
Right.
Just having a general idea,
Right.
you know, that stability I think is really important.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think, if you're missing that in your partner, I think that's not a huge red flag and just like a sign that like something either needs to change or this person isn't the right one for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice
I think it took me a while to understand that maybe that this person is not right for me.
Right.
It's like a compatibility issue. Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why mine's not boiling as much. Yours is intense. You could probably add like milk and stuff. Do you want kids? If so, how many?
Definitely want kids. I think I want 2 kids, ideally. I would say like a boy and a girl. That would be like ideal, but obviously like you can't control the genders. So 2 kids for sure, whatever genders they might be, always happy.
I love that. 2 would be super ideal. So I'm one of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm the oldest. And so I see how fun it is like to have like big family gatherings and it's just always a party whenever we're together.
Gotcha.
And, like, we don't need any like external people.
You have 4s already.
Yeah, it's oh my God, it's like chaos. At times a bit annoying, but for the most part, it's just really nice, like to celebrate holidays together. And, oh my gosh, it's still going. Okay. I don't know why mine's not boiling as much. Yours is intense. You could probably add like milk and stuff. I don't think this stove is working. This is a little dangerous, not doing this over a sink.
If you had a free weekend with unlimited resources, what are you doing?
Unlimited resources?
Yeah, like you're Bill Gates. You're Bill Gates.
What does that mean? I would listen to a lot of poetry and like Sufi music and qawwaliyan, possibly be inspired enough to write some poetry. I would go on like walks in the city, listen to music while on those walks, visit family and loved ones if they're also free.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for me, like I've always said, it's more about people than like what we're doing. So I think it's more about like being around the friends that I want to be. I think the people make the moment, not really like the environment that you're in. The hardest part with my friends is always figuring out where we want to go. We always say we want to make a trip, we want to go somewhere, and then nothing ever happens, right? Since we do have an unlimited bankroll, sure, let's go to like some tropical island in the middle of nowhere and just like live life and enjoy.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I don't rely on people to travel. I take a lot of solo trips. I can't wait around for people to be like, yeah, like this is where we're going, here's the plan.
Right.
And I like to be organized for the most part. And I find that like that.
It's really tough with other people.
Especially with a big group, you know, forget it. And so I just book it and go.
Really neat. I think a lot of people say they want to do that, but it's really cool that you actually follow through.
Yeah,
you must have some pretty cool stories to tell then.
I do.
Best one? Or like craziest story, like the most random stuff to happen on a solo trip?
I got followed by a van in Tulum. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary.
Wait, were you in another car? Were you walking?
No, I was on a bike.
You were on a bike just by yourself?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, nighttime. It was a bit of a scary experience.
I think a really big thing that stood out that was really positive was her whole solo trip thing. I think that's really neat and like shows a lot of just like an initiative, but also just like fearlessness too, right? Like traveling solo is tough, especially like, I'm also saying this as a dude, right? From her perspective as a girl, like I understand there are challenges she faces that I'm not even fully aware of. So to have that like fearlessness to go out there, to try these things, just something that's really admirable, and she has stories to tell. So I think this is like that's a really cool thing.
Yes, cheers. Okay. Oh, it's really hot still.
Do you want to try mine?
Sure, yeah, thank you.
Strong.
Yeah, the ginger is strong. It's good though. It's good. You did good.
Nice.
High five. I think it went good. Yeah, it went
I agree.
well.
Yeah, I think it went well.
Yeah.
First thing like I noticed about you is your voice, like and just like hearing her answer questions. So that's a very like interesting aspect. Like before I even meet the person, I get to hear their voice and like what they're thinking about.
I really liked that as well. I'm a big voice person, if that makes sense. I don't know. Even like the way that I do like spoken word poetry, a lot of it has to do with the way that you project your voice and how you speak. So I thought it was really cool to like kind of analyze your voice before meeting you, which your voice is nice.
Nice.
So it went pretty well. Like better than I expected it to go. He's really handsome and I like his voice. And for someone who likes words a lot, I think we talked a lot and I really, really liked that a lot.
A little bit of a roller coaster. Obviously there's nerves heading up. The closer you get like to the venue, you're just like, oh wow, like I'm actually doing this because totally out of my comfort zone, never done anything like this. And then I think once the date started, sort of quickly fell into a rhythm and I think things felt good. Like all of this was zoning out and I was more just like concentrated, like fully like into the day, like with what she was saying and start conversation.
You know how when you read books and then you go watch the movie, like the book is always so much better? You know, that could be the case with this kind of stuff too, with blind dates. But like voice matched, like personality was great. And then I saw him and, you know, I was like, okay.
Would you go on a second date with Mona?
Yes, I think I would go on a second date with Mona. I think it went pretty well. I think seems like a great person.
I'm unsure if I would go on another date with him. That's not to say that I'm leaning towards no or yes.
What if he was to ask you for your number?
Yeah, if he asks me for my number, I would be okay with giving it to him and kind of just keeping in touch.
They see me dating, they hating.
So yes, he did text me. I just haven't had the chance to respond yet. I had a very busy night yesterday, but I will today.